I remember first hearing about Sonic Youth on a VH1 Top 100 countdown of like the best hard rock artists. It was Drunken Butterfly off of Dirty, and I just remember like that would get stuck in my head. I was just like, yes, this is so punk, and I'm like, I love it. It was very much like my band. Like I shared it with a couple friends of mine, and like we went to a Sonic Youth concert and stuff. If it was in 7th or 8th grade, like nobody was trying to like access any of that, but like music was what I had. So like Sonic Youth was like my standout band, which like started getting me interested in trying to figure out like indie music. Sonic Youth was sort of bridging the gap for me to find new music and other bands that people didn't know about or weren't listening to. Going to see them live, it was off of like a Rather Ripped tour. They were touring in support of that album. So they played a lot of songs off of that. The Rather Ripped stuff they don't jam a lot on, but then they jam a lot off of older stuff because they get bored of playing the old stuff. They played World Looks Red and Shaking Hell off of Confusion is Sex, and I remember like World Looks Red, Thurston Moore just like shoved a screwdriver into his guitar and was just freaking the fuck out, and it was amazing. It was so cool. And I was just like, I just want to be Thurston Moore. And like I don't play guitar, I don't do any of that, so there was no way I could be, but I was like, this is incredible. Like the innovation behind all of this is just bizarre. And their encore was Teenage Riot, which everybody loved, which was really awesome. That was the only show I got a physical set list from. So I have a physical Sonic Youth set list, which is super cool. It was at Toad's Place, which is like Connecticut's like #1 venue, like really old, like a lot of bands have gone through there. I saw Rob Zombie and Sonic Youth there, obviously 2 separate times. My mom took my friend Mike and my cousin Tim and I think Tim was part of it. And she sat at the bar or whatever. She sat on the 21 plus side, and we were on the under 21 side of the barricade. I used to go on there, like they have a message board, I'm sure they still do. They had a message board that I wasn't active on, but I actively read. And they had this website where they had set lists from almost every show they ever played. So I remember just going year by year, looking for the ones that were in Connecticut, and like what did they play when they went to Toad's Place, or what did they play when, you know, they were in Western Connecticut, or anything like that. Or then I would search by year, and like when they were on the Dirty, like when they were on a Dirty tour, or when they're on tour with Nirvana, like what did they play? I think there's a large group of people that are really appreciative of their whole body of work. But then there are like people who, you know, just like the Daydream Nation Dirty era stuff, which makes sense. And there's some that just like the no wave stuff, which also makes sense. There's people who like 1,000 Leaves and Washing Machine and all of that. I am a bigger fan of like the no wave stuff, up to Experimental, Jet Set Trash, and No Star, which nobody likes. Nobody likes that album, but I think it's great. I think there's just something new in every album that you can appreciate. I think that's why I like it so much. You can totally define who you are or who somebody is by a Sonic Youth album, which is so weird. You know, you can just think about other stuff that they like. Like, I like the no wave stuff more so I like Lydia Lunch and the Contortions, and like I will appreciate that stuff more. To me, nothing can touch Sonic Youth. It's so, they're an anomaly. Sonic Youth is just like bar none, just above everything, and then anything else is below that, and I can't even judge things comparatively. It's just so far away from everything else I listen to, which is totally fine. Like I put them on that pedestal, and now they don't ever they don't disappoint because they don't exist anymore. But they wouldn't have disappointed ever. I would have been like, oh, another Sonic Youth album, and if I didn't like it, whatever, it's still up there with everything. I bought Confusion of Sex on vinyl, but it didn't have Kill Your Idols, and I was like, not that I like wanted it on vinyl. I already had it on like my iPod, so whatever. I guess that's fine. But I didn't even think that they like released it or that I'd be able to find it. And then I went to Soundgarden and they had the EP there. And Kill Your Idols and Brother James are on here, and those are like 2 of my favorite songs off of this kind of era. I had to buy Rather Ripped because it was the first album I had bought by them, so I had to get it on vinyl too. Lee Ranaldo came to my hometown in the summer, last summer, and he just released Between the Times and the Tides, and he signed it for me right here. And he wrote to Kyle with this big long mark, and then Lee Ranaldo, and then he wrote the date of the show. That's the second Lee Ranaldo autograph I have, because at the Toad's Place show, while we were waiting outside, we ran into a bookstore next door to stay warm, and he was in there, and he was just looking at books and shit, and we were like, oh my god, it's Lee Ranaldo. So we had our tickets, and I was like, hey, Lee, can you sign our tickets? And then, like, he signed it, and it was super cool. We're like, really excited for the show tonight. And then we left, and we were like, oh my god, what if they take the tickets? Like, what if they take the tickets at the door and, like, don't give them back? It has Lee Ranaldo's signature, and that would be so shitty. But it was, like, the print-off Ticketmaster one, so they didn't take it, they just scanned it. They do all these SYR recordings, which I always think of Syracuse, but it's Sonic Youth recordings. And they're, like, 30-minute like ambient jam like sessions, and I remember my mom got it for me at the show because she was like, I didn't know what albums you had, but I didn't think you had this one. It's only got 3 songs. I was like, I only got 3 songs, and it's like these like 25-minute like pieces of just like this crazy ambient stuff, and it's so cool to listen to. That's also another like asset of Sonic Youth that's so different that like people don't even think about. It's just there's so many facets to that band and to what that band's done that it's just impossible to compare or grasp all of it sometimes. I don't know. I just really like Sonic Youth, guys.